Hello guys, my name is Mil Mong, and today I am going to be talking about the digitalization of schooling. Let's start off with the history of schooling. So, ever since the institution of schooling has been established, it has always been in person. Everything about schooling was in person, such as assignments like classwork, blah blah blah. However, everything changed with the emergence of Web 2.0. So before Web 2.0 was Web 1.0. Web 1.0 was like one-way internet where you could only view web pages, websites, blah blah blah, but you couldn't interact with them. But Web 2.0, that meant that you could start interacting with web pages, and thus many possibilities emerged from it. And this marked some changes in the school system. I'm going to be talking about the three characteristics of digitalization that was went over in class that is prevalent in the digitalization of schooling. The first characteristic I want to talk about is timeless time. This means that sequence could be negated synchronously or asynchronously through digitalization. And in the case of the digitalization of schooling, there are many examples. The first example I want to talk about is an example that Professor Hilbert gave in class about how students could watch lectures anytime they want. So back then, you were limited to lectures during the school hours. And if you missed lectures in school, well, I don't know, you just missed it. You can't make up for it. But with the digitalization of schooling, you could watch lectures whenever you want, like this image, 3 a.m., because that's when I find myself watching lectures most often. Another example is collaborating with classmates. This can be done asynchronously and synchronously. Back then, you could only collaborate with classmates when you're in person with them. Unless, yeah, and then it would be impossible if you weren't in person with them. But with the digitalization of schooling, you could now collaborate with your classmates anytime you want. An example is Google Docs. You could be working on the same Google Doc during the same time as your classmate, or working on it when you're free. The next characteristic I want to talk about is the depth of distance. The depth of distance means the depth of distance, no more distance. An example I want to talk about is lectures being able to be viewed wherever you want. So I have a couple of friends who are also taking summer session classes, but they are not in the US. But that doesn't mean they can't watch lectures because the digitalization of schooling has allowed them to be able to watch lectures even when they aren't physically located in a classroom. For example of that is I have a friend that's in Taiwan that's literally in CMN 170 and watching the same lecture videos that I do. Whoa. But yeah, another example that I didn't list on here is office hours. So back then, office hours, you can only go to office hours when you're in person because office hours literally stands for office hours when the teacher is in office. And yeah, but with the digitalization of schooling, office hours is expanded. You could be at office hours whenever you want, wherever you want, because of Zoom. Most professors, teachers, lecturers, etc., etc., they hold their office hours through Zoom now. So even if you aren't physically located where they're at, you could still attend office hours, thus showing depth of distance. Excuse me. The third characteristic I want to talk about is the algorithmification of schooling. Back then, everything about schooling had to be done by teachers. Had. But with the emergence of Web 2.0, what could only be done by teachers could now be done through algorithms. A very big example of this that I've been seeing in CMN 170 is the PlayPosit player. So, with the use of algorithms, your, assi- your assignments can be graded online when it used to be teachers only or teachers, TAs only. So, when PlayPosit notices that you finished watching the lecture video, it grades you. Whoa. But yeah, there are many more examples of algorithmification being prevalent in digital school. But yeah, and these are just three of the characteristics of visualization, and there are many more that I could have mentioned. But these are the three that I thought were most notable and that I should have included in my video. And what holds for the future of schooling? Me personally, I don't know because Web 2.0 and online school is still very new because the emergence of online school hasn't researched emerged until recently after COVID, and the future of schooling is still unknown as Web 3.0 also just emerged. And if you don't know what Web 3.0 is, it's basically a, a decentralized web. But yeah, the future of schooling. No one knows what's going to happen. There are many possibilities as we fully haven't explored what is possible with Web 3.0. So, yeah, I am curious to what the future of schooling is going to look like far in the future when my kids attend school. And yeah, thank you very much for watching and listening. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.